Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Savannah J. Goins, author of The Gwythinian and The Crevibanian, and today I'm going to tell you guys how I got some really unique photography done for my website for some unique aspects of my branding, and how you can do some really cool things too if you just stop being afraid to ask. Obviously, asking for things can be really nerve-wracking and uncomfortable and scary because it leaves you wide open to get rejected. But rejection is a normal part of being an adult and being an artist, unfortunately. So we all kind of have to get used to it. But for the times that you don't get rejected, those many times you do get rejected are so worth it. So I talk a lot about my being a dragon wrangler, and that comes from my history working as an exotic animal veterinary technician at an animal clinic, and from working with an exotic animal rescue and fostering dragons to help them find forever homes. And these are real dragons, so most of them are, on the tiny side, but they're really dragons. And also from writing books with dragon characters in them. There's one right there. So I wanted to get some really unique photography done. It was coming up on 2 years from my last photography, so I knew I needed to get some professional headshots done, and I wanted to make it really unique and include some real live dragons. However, I don't work at the vet clinic anymore, so I couldn't really borrow any from there. And at the time, I only had one foster dragon who is a really tiny one, and I have some cool pictures of her, but I really wanted to get some really big, noticeable, unique lizards in these pictures. So first, I started thinking about who I knew that had lizards. And I knew a few people that had some small lizards, but still nobody that had the really big ones. So I did a really scary thing, and I asked a whole bunch of random strangers if I could come to their house and bring my photographer and a whole bunch of photography equipment and borrow their lizards for a photo shoot. And it was a little bit weird, obviously, because, I wouldn't let some random person come into my house and take pictures of my pets. So it was kind of scary, and I definitely did get rejected by a lot of people. Where I started, once I realized that most people who I knew had smaller lizards, I reached out to a bunch of people in like Facebook groups, so people with like rescue reptile groups in my area, or um, monitor lizard pet lovers, like all those kind of groups. I joined a whole bunch. I've joined probably like 30 different reptile groups, and I first of all read the instructions, or like the rules for the Facebook group to make sure I wasn't going to be annoying anybody with something. I wasn't trying to sell anything, obviously. I just wanted to post this really random request, and I don't think I got rejected from posting anywhere. But I had a few people comment that that was weird, and there was a little bit of like, and some people, like, some posts didn't get any comments, and so there was some rejection involved. But I got enough really cool people, even though I only ended up with 4 stops on this epic trip. All of them were really awesome people, and I got really great photography from it. So I want to throw a few pictures up on the screen here for you as I walk through really quick a couple places that I went. At our first stop, we met Susan, who has a lot of Leachianus geckos and crested geckos, and at her house we got these really cool pictures. There's in the first one, there's 2 different Leachianus geckos, a darker one and a lighter one. They're from 2 different islands off the coast of New Zealand, and super cool. And this is one of my favorite pictures ever, with one of them sitting on my arm, and this great one of a crested gecko on my hat that was also at her house. She was super cool. You might have seen me post a picture on Facebook of a little tiny gecko that looked like moss sitting on my face. That was also from her. The next place that we went to was the Exotic Tales Rescue Center, and as their name says, they're an exotic animal rescue center, and they have a really cool setup. It's actually in their house, but they've converted a couple of rooms to a really cool setup to house these animals. And we got to meet a lot of really cool lizards. They had several different species, and we got these 2 great iguana pictures there, and also this huge white throat monitor. He was also there. and that it was either the iguana or the monitor that scratched me up a little bit. And I went with a medical kit because I expected to get bitten or scratched a little bit from this. And the worst I got were a couple of little scratches that didn't even really bleed, so it was not bad at all. After that, we went to my friend Kylie's house. She has a water dragon named Tree Weasel, which is the coolest name ever. And here she is trying to make a run for it. I don't know, I guess she got tired of being on camera. And after that, we went to my friend Emily's house, and she has a blue-tongued skink named Gus Gus. And his tongue is so blue that it matches my book covers, and I really wanted to get a picture of that. I have to tell you though, here's a picture that I took a long time ago of him when I only had the first book out. We tried so hard to recreate this picture and probably took about 150 pictures just trying to get his tongue sticking out. And it was really hard. We didn't really ever get a good one of his tongue sticking out, but we got a few other good ones there. So even though it was a little bit uncomfortable to ask random people if I could please come to their house with my photographer and equipment and borrow their lizards for pictures, it was such a cool result. Even though a lot of people said no or just ignored me, the couple of people that said yes really made it an awesome time. So tell me something that you know you should do or you're interested in doing, but you're afraid to try because you're afraid to ask for help, or you're afraid to ask, a weird question like, can I come to your house and take pictures of your pets? If you have something weirder than that, definitely tell me in the comments. Even if it's not weirder though, tell me about it, and I would love to hear about it. And for a little extra accountability, tell me exactly what your first action step is going to be, if it's actually asking this person for something or if you need to do a little research first or whatever, and then when you're actually going to ask, whether it's a mentor who you look up to, who you're afraid of bothering, but you know they could help you with something, whatever it may be, just obviously remember to be respectful of people's time, but it's really true that you won't know until you ask, so you might as well give it a try. So be sure to let me know what big questions you're going to ask in the comments down below, and give this video a like, a thumbs up, and click the subscribe button to see more videos with writing and entrepreneurial artist tips. Until next time, bye!